We're living in a scientific world like never before, and students have to understand how it affects their daily life. Things that they did every day, I would explain to them why, how. And when you come in the first day, they are so far from you. And that first day is so important, though. If you get them the first day, you got them. They would come into my class and they would say, "We are going to hate this science class. There's no way we're going to like science. The chip was on this shoulder and one on that shoulder." And then after a little bit, the students, some of them would say to me, "You know, I can't believe I'm loving this class." My family is a religious Orthodox family. In Portland, Maine, while there were 5,000 Jewish people in the city, they were mostly conservative and reform. There were about 100,000 people in the whole city. There were really very few Orthodox people. There was no chance for real Orthodox upbringing. Not so much upbringing, because that you can do internally in a home. But there were no schools. There was what they called Talmud Torahs, a elementary school where you went to high school, went there after school a little bit. But you had no real training. The only place where you could get real training in real Jewish education was to come to New York. And Yeshiva University, since I was ready to go to college at that time, was where I came. My history at the Fashion Institute of Technology starts in 1956, when I was teaching for the New York City Board of Education at the Bronx High School of Science, and I was looking for a part-time job to fill in somewhat. Was flipping through the yellow pages when I saw an ad by a school called the Fashion Institute of Technology. Never heard of it, but they wanted what I wanted, so I called them up. They offered me an afternoon job teaching science and all mathematics, and I accepted. The whole FIT was in the High School of Fashion Industries, which was on 24th Street. We had, I remember, the entire 8th floor. That was FIT. Our office was a small, little, narrow room. In fact, it was so narrow that if someone wanted to get by me, I had to stand up and move my chair for them to get by. Now, there were about 200 students, not even, at the school, and there were about a dozen faculty members. When we were ready to move into the C building out of this crowded little floor, and we and all 200 students, as I say, there was a band, and there was the governor was there, and the mayor was there, and all kind of big shots from all over the city and state, because it was such an unusual situation. We were sure that this building would last us for years and years, and we would never have a problem. Literally, the day we walked in, we had so many applications that the building was too small. When I came to FIT, and for quite a few years afterwards, it was a very close-knit community. There wasn't one faculty member that I didn't know by name, and especially since I did the college program, and they all knew me by name. The student body, all 200, I would say I knew just about every one of them. And since only I and a gentleman named William Leder taught the only science courses, he primarily taught the biological science, and I taught the physical science. So I really just about taught every student in the school. There used to be a hotel up in the Catskills, which doesn't exist anymore, called Grossinger's. You know Grossinger's? Fine. We arranged with Grossinger's, which wasn't filled before Christmas or before New Year's, they were kind of empty, to come up there with about, maybe 100 students and half a dozen faculty members as chaperones. And the kids would go up for 3 days, 2 nights, 3 meals a day, ice skating, skiing, you name it. You know what they paid? $25. Faculty went free. The students in those days came primarily from New York City. We had no dormitories. We had that one floor, and there were some students maybe from New Jersey. There were almost no students from out of the country or out of the state. Some, but not many. The difference between students then and students now, frankly, was not great. They were I always said they were sweet, likable, nice kids. And today there are many more students from outside the state, from outside the country. We have dormitory students, which we didn't have in those days. And but basically, very similar. I don't find any great difference in my classes today and my classes that I taught 50 years ago.